Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about the quarterfinal games. I'm basically just going to be analyzing the play. I'm not going to be going too in detail on the lineups or the players. I'm just going to be giving a brief overview, or else this video will be 40 minutes long and that'll take 4 hours to upload, so I'm not doing that. I want to address two things first. One, I was supposed to upload my Sky Blue FC video, but I'm kind of an idiot. You know, I thought the game Sky Blue was playing Washington was at night, so I was going to upload it during the day. And then I woke up, turned on CBS, and then I saw Sky Blue on the field, and I was like, I confused the games. So I figured I'm not going to upload it mainly because A, it's already happened, it's in the past. I was going to be predicting how they played, so we already know how they played, so there's no point in uploading that, if that makes sense. The second thing I wanted to say is that this video is actually supposed to go up like earlier today, but I had food poisoning, so love that for me. I was gonna upload it like this morning. I woke up at 6 a.m., vomited, and then was like, uh-oh, I got food poisoning again. I don't know why this always happens to me. I swear my stomach can't handle anything. So yeah, that's the two things I wanted to say. That's where I've been. If you guys enjoy today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing because I'm going to do more videos throughout this tournament. As always, timestamps will be in the description below. I'm going to go in order of the way the games went order, and then at the very end of this video, I'm going to be giving my predictions about both of the semifinal games. So let me know what you guys think down below about who's going to win, who you think is going to beat who, what the scores are going to be. I love to hear what you guys have to say, and let's get into the video. The first game I'm going to be discussing is the Portland Thorns versus the North Carolina Courage, and Portland ended up winning this game 1-0. First of all, I'd like to make a formal apology from the bottom of my heart about my analysis and my critique on Britt Eckerstrom. I deserve the death penalty, I deserve to have my channel removed, and I deserve to never be allowed to ever say anything ever again about anybody ever. Britt played a lot last year when Adriana French was out with the women's national team. Based off of her performance, I wasn't impressed with her. She had a lot of bobbles and errors and small mistakes, but dear God, did she show up. But Portland's really pumping out the best goalkeepers in the world. Freaking Nadine Onger, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know what she's injecting the Thorns goalkeepers with. I don't know what they're feeding them. Britt literally is the entire reason we won this game, hands down. Yes, we scored a goal, but she's the one who kept us in the game 100%. She had so many phenomenal saves. I was screaming the entire time. I was going absolutely wild. So I just wanted to say that I don't normally revoke my comments, and I don't normally apologize about my analysis on players because my opinions are just my opinions, but this one, I'm never ever allowed to critique her ever again. I'm sorry. When people say Lynn Williams is the best striker in the world and she deserves to be a starter on the women's team, I can never get on board with that mentality and the hype surrounding her because while I do think she's a great player, what the heck was she doing this game? If she was even half as effective or even scored a quarter of the amount of chances she had on goal, the game would have been put away in the first 30 minutes, but she cannot finish. Well, here's the deal. I know people are going to get angry. She scored 50-something goals in the NWSL. Yes, she's efficient in front of goal. Girl, where was that this game? Now, I get players have off games, but there's a difference between being a natural-born goal scorer and being her. And I'm not trying to critique her as a person, just as a player. I don't see the hype around her. I think she's a good player. Again, that's something I've been saying about Lynn for a long time, is that something she has to work on within the type of player she is. She has to be more efficient in front of goal. I mean, it's just, there's no excuse you can make for her in these chances and the amount of chances she had. There's just no excuse. I genuinely don't know how Portland held on. I don't know how they did it. The amount of chances North Carolina created, and they weren't just half chances, they were 5 goals should have been scored in the first half, easily. Yo, I was having a heart attack the entire first half. I was screaming, step, press, what are you doing? What are you doing? Ah! Panic. The thing I wanted to point out about Portland is you'd notice a lot of the counterattacks that came from the lack of numbers we had in the midfield. For example, Angela Salem, Rocky Rodriguez, and Christine Sinclair, and Lindsay Horan in the first half, they'd all be up in the attack, and there would be too much of a space between Angela Salem and our center backs. There's too much space in between the defensive line and the midfield line, and we'd have North Carolina player float in there, or Lynn Williams would check back to receive the ball, and then they'd turn and it would just be an absolute counterattack against our defense because our midfielders got caught up too far. And so I think in terms of going forward, they need to make sure that they don't send too many numbers forward and that they have at least one, if not two, in the back, just holding down and anchoring down, and that they pick and choose when to step and when to stay, because a lot of the times the opportunities North Carolina created was because we didn't have any numbers in the midfield and they were just able to go right around us, or we had one back, but again, a 2v1 situation is so tough to defend because you step at the wrong time and they just go right around you. So that's something to consider as well. In this tournament, I didn't know this prior to the quarterfinals, so that's my bad, but there's no extra time. It just goes straight to penalty kicks. So the Thorns are thinking, okay, maybe we can hold out as long as we can, maybe get to penalty kicks, or we hold out as long as we can and we get a goal. That's exactly what happened. Like, of course, I'm enough of a clown to support the Thorns, even while they're in last place going up against the North Carolina Courage. Bro, I put on my clown mask, I put on my tinfoil hat, and I strolled up to my computer ready, 100% ready, knowing that we were going to lose. And somehow, they somehow pulled through. Rocky Rodriguez made a fantastic run, got the ball, and Maureen Weaver just completely beat Addison Merrick to the ball. Like, I don't even remember how it happened. I think I blacked out. They began to panic. You could see in the last minutes of the game they were fouling the heck out of the Thorns. Jalen Daniels was so angry. I'm like, girl, that's what you deserve. Don't take no shade, but like, stop fouling us. You're gonna lose. Take the L and move on. Going into this game, I knew the Thorns were gonna have to play in a low defensive block that was compact, and I definitely won't say that they were compact in any way. I would say they got lucky. I think Britt Eckerstrom had the best game of her entire life, and we got out of that. Obviously, my game plan was a little bit more intense than what Mark Parsons put out, but I'd say the style in which they played more defensive-minded, and then they were trying to be threatening in the attack. I'd say that was pretty much how I predicted and how I thought they were going to play, mainly because that's truly the only way you can play North Carolina. For your entertainment, I will include some footage of me screaming about the game, so I hope you enjoy.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Game. Rocky, just go shoot the fucking ball. Just go shoot it. Shoot it. I'm so hyped. I've had like 2 hours of sleep. I'm so fucking hyped. Come on, ref. Don't give them any extra time.
The full-time whistle. A shocker in the quarterfinal. Portland knocks out the Courage.
I don't even know what to say, girl. Oh my god. I mean, I will say it. Low-key came as a shock, but I'm not surprised. I knew that was my team. I knew they could make it happen. Oh.
Houston Dash played the Utah Royals, and they tied 0-0, ended up going into penalty kicks, and Houston won in penalty kicks. The fact that I even compared Abby Smith to Britt Eckerstrom, I deserve execution, because the fact that I even tried to compare the two of them. It's unacceptable. The reason I don't like Abby Smith is, well, if you watch that game, she, first of all, fouled Brianna Visali in the penalty box. She was the last defender, so not only should she have gotten a red card for an obvious denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, she should have been sent off, and the Dash should have had a penalty kick. Chesky, the referee, the head ref, was awful. She's awful. She's consistently bad. What the hell was that? That pissed me off so badly, because if the Dash would have lost this game, I would have been so irritated for them. Now, here's the deal. The argument is put out that, yes, it was offsides. In the background of the picture, I'll put it up, you can see the referee holding, the sideline ref holding the flag up. So, if that play was actually offsides, Abby Smith should have never got a yellow card, and they should have never had a free kick. But what ended up happening is Abby Smith got a yellow card. I don't even know how. She didn't even protest. She was just like, I'm head out. I'm not even going to say anything. It's like, girl, oh my god. And then they got a free kick outside the 18. Absolutely not. That was awful. No, another reason why I wish VAR was at least implemented in the league, because stuff like this is just so irritating. Ever since then, I just felt like this game was destined to be an absolute bloodbath, and that's what it ended up being. Both teams fouling each other an outrageous amount of times. The referee, again, took way too long to hand out the first yellow card. She was just giving talks to them. Like, oh, calm down. Like, you think Rachel Daly's gonna calm down? No. Like, she's not. You need to give her a yellow card, and I'm not just saying her, but I'm just saying in general, like, if it's foul after foul after foul, you have to stop giving a warning, and you have to start giving yellows, because that actually is what controls the game. Because warnings mean absolutely nothing if you're not going to actually keep your word. And the game completely got out of control. Both teams couldn't keep possession. It was just scrappy, it was choppy. It was honestly an awful game to watch in terms of, like, soccer. It wasn't being played. It was just... I'm surprised the whole fight didn't break out. Again, there's, like, really no analysis to give about the actual gameplay, because after the first half, it was just... gameplay went out the door. It was just 1v1 battles. It was fouling. It was pulling jerseys. It just wasn't pretty. So we ended up going into penalty kicks. And I knew the second we went into penalty kicks, the Dash were going to win. Jane Campbell is an absolute god in penalty kicks. She's always been fantastic, not only in the league. She's saved 8 out of 12 penalty kicks she's faced the entire league. If you even get half of those, that's impressive. And Jane's just such a confident person that her confidence, like, almost in a way is, like, attractive. It, like, influences the players around her, and they feed off of that from her. To know going into a penalty shootout, your keeper is, like, absolutely 100% confident, it makes it easier because you feel like, okay, she's going to do her job, I'm going to do my job as a penalty kick taker, and I'm going to convert my chances. That's exactly what happened. Abby Smith literally was just watching the shots go by. She got her fingertips on one of them, but they went in, and just in general... Jane Campbell is a phenomenal goalkeeper in terms of penalty kicks and just in general. I think Utah wasn't very wise in terms of their penalty kick takers. Vero ended up going down with an injury pretty late in the game. I thought homegirl broke her ankle. She was limping, and she even limped up to take her penalty kick, and then she proceeded to take her penalty kick. I don't care how much of a leader you want to be. I don't care how badly you want to take your penalty kick. If there's even a chance you might not be able to convert it because of an injury, don't even risk it. And I don't know if it was just a bad penalty kick or if she was genuinely because she was hurt, if that's something in the back of her mind, but kicked it at Jane Campbell saved it. Sky Blue FC played the Washington Spirit. They tied 0-0, but the Sky Blue FC ended up winning in penalty kicks. This game was better in terms of quality on the ball compared to the previous game. But again, Washington couldn't capitalize on their opportunities. Washington had 12 shots, 7 of which were on target, while Sky Blue FC had 8 shots, 2 of which were on target. So you can see that there's an obvious difference between both teams in terms of their chances in front of goal. And Sky Blue didn't really have that many chances, at least ones that were substantial and on target. But I mean, Tori Huster had one towards the end of the game where I feel like, could have scored. Momiki had one that went off the crossbar. I think Ashley Sanchez had 2 great chances to score. One on her header, which Kaylin Sheridan, her save was absolutely world class. And then another one where she kicked it at Kaylin Sheridan instead of trying to pick out a corner. You could see that Sky Blue was kind of sort of trying to ride out this game towards penalty kicks, which is a completely fair game plan. Nothing wrong with that. Honestly, going into this penalty shootout, I had no idea who was going to win, mainly because I don't feel like either team really came into that with the energy, necessarily like being on top. I feel like the last 10 minutes of the game were really end-to-end play. At the end of the day, Sky Blue ended up winning on their penalty kicks. I feel like a lot of that had to do with Sarah Woldmo. She completely led the team in terms of their confidence going into that penalty shootout. She placed her first kick in the upper 90, absolutely nothing that Aubrey Bledsoe could have done. Sky Blue had the win going into last penalty kick. Bailey Feist had to convert it, and I just knew, you can just tell when players run out to take a penalty kick. You can just see whether or not they're confident. I just felt like Bailey Feist didn't look confident. You could see it in her eyes that she wasn't sure of herself, and it sucks losing in penalty kicks. I've been there. I've taken a penalty kick and I've missed it. I've been the last person to take one and I've missed it. It sucks because the second the ball leaves your foot, you think, I should have done something different. But in that moment, you do the best you can. You try to step up and you either score or you don't, and Kaylin Sheridan read it well. It wasn't a very well-taken penalty kick, but Sky Blue FC ended up getting the win. The final quarterfinal was the Chicago Red Stars versus the Olympic Lyonnais Reign. And again, this one ended up being a 0-0 tie until they went into penalty kicks, in which Chicago won in penalties. In terms of stats, the Reign dominated in pretty much every aspect. Shots on goal, shots in general, crosses, completed passes in total, passing accuracy, possession. They absolutely led on everything. And so based off of this, you would have expected them to be more dominant in terms of like final third play. And they definitely had a lot of opportunities. Like, for example, Jodie Taylor should have at least gotten more of a touch on her opportunity. In the first half, you could see Chicago was having a lot of success down the right side. They take advantage of the fact that Lauren Barnes was getting caught out. They played over top. But again, Chicago's just not threatening enough in the final third. You could see it in this game as well. They had some individual chances, but in terms of like team build-up, you just didn't see that from them. The game was getting chippier in terms of like fouls. And Chicago was fouling a lot in the second half, and they were trying to score, and then the energy was shifting back and forth, and Kaylee Watt had two fantastic opportunities that I feel like the second one she should have scored. And the first one, I think she should have taken her shot. She got herself into a great pocket of space just on top of the box, and she could have curled it in, but she decided to play the pass instead, and it got intercepted. And then the second chance, Kaylee Watt does all of this, does the skill moves, the cutbacks, literally is on top of the 6-yard box, no one in front of her except the keeper. Lauren Barnes is on the line. She pulls her shot wide. Like, girl, at least kick it at the keeper. That one has to be on target. That, again, in the rain, I felt like they were really slow and almost like there's no sense of urgency defensively. They would be jogging back. They would be kind of half-stepping. And just in general, they didn't look like cohesive as a team collectively. After 90 minutes, it ended up being 0-0, and Chicago Red Stars ended up winning. Shirley Cruz missed her penalty kick, and Lauren Barnes got hers saved. Penalties are one of those ways, it's like, it doesn't really reflect on either team's quality in terms of the 90 minutes. It's just however you come into those penalty kicks, however you take them, that's how the game ends. In general, I was not impressed with either side this game. I wasn't impressed with the rain throughout this entire tournament. But this win from Chicago, although they celebrated and they were very excited, I'm not impressed with them. If I were them, I wouldn't be happy with that win in terms of like what they brought in the 90 minutes. Yes, they got the result. Yes, they're going into the semifinals. But based off of the way they played, there's literally nothing to be excited about. They have a lot of work to do. And we'll see tomorrow, or technically today when this goes up, how they do. So let's start with Houston versus Portland. I just have to go with the Thorns. Despite the fact that they give me raging anxiety. So I always have to go with them. But I do think that in general, I do think they're going to win. Now, me saying I think the Thorns are going to win against North Carolina, that's just me because I support that team. Do I think it was realistic? Absolutely not. If they ended up winning, yes. But I do genuinely think going into this game they are going to win. And I think this for a few reasons. I think if Houston comes out strong, they have a chance. We've seen throughout this tournament when they come out on the front foot and they're able to generate their game plan and their momentum first, they do well. But we've also seen that if they don't come out strong and they can't generate their game plan in a timely fashion, they get frustrated. And I think the Thorns are going to come out the first 10, 15 minutes, I think are going to be pretty up in the air in terms of like possession and just who they're trying to figure each other out. But I think the Thorns are going to settle down in their game plan. I think they're going to keep the ball very well. I think they're going to distribute it well. I think they're going to get more chances in the final third. I think they're going to do a good job defensively of marking Rachel Daly as a lone striker. And I think all those factors combined are going to make Houston very frustrated. And we've seen when they get frustrated, they lose sight of patience and just waiting to build up. They try to force things. They try to, send the ball along when they shouldn't. And so I think if we can get them frustrated, we will have a better chance of scoring. Now, again, the Thorns, I feel like their game plan mainly revolves around sending in crosses and hoping. So if that's their plan, it's going to be very predictable. But I think just coming off of the energy and momentum they created in the quarterfinals and how they were able to beat the number one team, I think they have a lot of confidence going into this game. And so I think that's going to show in the final third as well. I think the pressure for Morgan Weaver to get her first goal is gone. She's already got it. And so I think now she's going to come into this game with a little less pressure on herself and a little bit more freedom. And I think we're going to see that in terms of how she plays in the final third, whether it's in her finishing or her distribution. My final guess is the score will be 2-0. Portland win. My predictions for the Chicago Red Stars versus Sky Blue FC game, I think they're going to end in a penalty kick shootout. But if they don't end in a shootout, I think Sky Blue will win 1-0. Those are my two guesses. I'm leaning more towards the penalty shootout just based off of how both of these teams have played through this tournament, but I think there's a chance Sky Blue can get one in. Chicago doesn't have a goal-scoring player. Collectively, in the final third, there's too many individual players that don't mesh well with each other, and so I think if they do score, it'll be off of a defensive mistake from Sky Blue, or it'll be an individual opportunity. I think Chicago will probably have most of the chances, but again, just based off the player, the personnel they have, I don't think they're going to be substantial, and I definitely don't think they'll take advantage of them. Now, Sky Blue, they're really good at keeping possession, and I think if they can get Onumanu and Paige Monahan and Kawasumi, and I think if Evelyn Vians plays, I think if they can all generate the same fire in terms of their just desire to score, if they can cultivate that as a team mentality, I think they can definitely score. They just have to be threatening and efficient in front of goal, and if they can't do that, again, I think both teams will go into penalty kicks. I've got to say, I think Sky Blue will come out on top in the penalty kicks. I just think that this team is something special. They want it so badly, and you can just see how much it means to them as a team to even be in the semifinals. They haven't had this opportunity in years because of management and issues with that and how they've been treated poorly. Now there's a renewed hope in them, and this fire and this passion to go forward and try to be something better than the years before, and they've been held back by factors that were out of their control, and now this year they feel like they can finally be themselves. And I think that just based off of those factors and the fact that I just feel more confident to me. That's just what my gut's telling me. So I'm predicting Sky Blue win in penalty kicks, or I'm predicting a 1-0 win in the run of play for Sky Blue. I just can't see the Chicago Red Stars scoring any goals. That's all for me today. If you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below about the quarterfinal games. Which one was the most exciting to you? Were you guys surprised that 3 out of the 4 games went to penalty kicks? I thought that was interesting. Let me know what you guys think about who's going to win today. Do you think the Thorns are going to win? Do you think the Dash are going to win? Do you think Sky Blue FC is going to come out with the win? Do you think Chicago Red Stars are going to finally get their chemistry up top together? Let me know what you guys think. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for all of your guys' support, your continual support. I really do appreciate it more than you guys realize. It means the world to me. That when I see comments, I get so excited about it. So I just want to say thank you and that I appreciate you guys a lot. And so I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!